My husband shattered our marriage with an affair, then threatened to take our son if I filed for divorce. I fought back hard, gathering evidence, seeking allies, and building a strong case to protect my child and secure my freedom. My name is Emery, and I'm 32 years old. I've been married to John for 8 years, and we have a son, Lucas, who's 5. I used to think we had a pretty solid life. Nothing fancy, just a small house in the suburbs, a steady routine, and a kid who keeps us on our toes. But everything fell apart 6 months ago when I found out John was cheating on me. Worse, when I confronted him, he didn't even try to deny it. He just looked me dead in the eye and said if I tried to divorce him, he'd fight me for full custody of Lucas. That's where I am now, stuck, scared, and trying to figure out how to keep my son and my sanity. It started with little things I didn't want to see. John would come home late from work, saying he had meetings that ran long. I believed him at first because he's always been good at his job, some mid-level manager at a logistics company. He's 35, charming when he wants to be, but also stubborn as hell. If he decides something, there's no talking him out of it. That's part of what drew me to him years ago, but now it's the thing that terrifies me most. He's got this way of twisting situations to make himself look like the good guy, and I'm afraid he'll use that against me in court if it comes to that. I found out about the affair by accident. He left his phone on the kitchen counter one night, and a text popped up from someone named S. It said, "Miss you already. Last night was amazing." My stomach dropped. I didn't even think. I just grabbed the phone and scrolled. There were dozens of messages, going back months, between him and this woman named Samantha. She's 28, works in his office, and from what I could tell, she's everything I'm not anymore. Single, carefree, no stretch marks or sleepless nights from raising a kid. The texts were full of flirting, plans to meet up, and stuff I can't even repeat without feeling sick. When he walked into the kitchen and saw me with his phone, he didn't yell. He just smirked and said, "What did you expect, Emery? You've been checked out for years." That hurt more than the cheating itself. Checked out. I've been raising our son, keeping the house together, working part-time as a receptionist to help with bills. If anyone's checked out, it's him. But that's John, always turning it around on me. The fight that night was ugly. I told him I wanted a divorce, and that's when he dropped the bomb about Lucas. "Go ahead and try," he said. "I'll take him, and you'll be lucky to see him on weekends. I've got a stable job, a clean record. What do you have?" I couldn't even answer. I just stood there, shaking, while he walked out to clear his head. Since then, things have gotten messy. One problem is my mom. She's been living with us for the last year because she can't afford her own place after Dad passed. She's in her late 60s, sweet but meddling, and she's always had a soft spot for John. She doesn't know about the affair yet. I haven't had the heart to tell her, but she keeps saying things like, "You two need to work it out for Lucas's sake." It drives me crazy because she doesn't get it. She thinks every marriage can be fixed with a good talk and a home-cooked meal. I love her, but her nagging makes me feel even more alone in this. Then there's the money issue. I don't make much at my job, and John controls most of our finances. We've got a joint account, but he's the one who handles the bills, the mortgage, everything. I started noticing he's been spending more lately. New clothes, dinners out, stuff he can't explain. I'm pretty sure it's for Samantha, but I can't prove it. If I leave him, I don't know how I'll afford a lawyer or even a place to live. Lucas and I could move in with Mom temporarily, but she's on a fixed income, and her apartment barely fits her. Plus, John's already hinted he'd use my unstable situation against me in a custody fight. He's smart like that, always one step ahead. The hardest part is Lucas. He's only 5, but he's starting to notice something's wrong. John and I don't yell in front of him, but the tension's there. He'll ask me why Daddy's sleeping on the couch or why I'm crying in the bathroom. I try to keep it together for him. He's this bright, curious kid who loves dinosaurs and building forts out of blankets. But I'm terrified of losing him. John's not a bad dad. I'll give him that. He takes Lucas to the park, helps with homework when he's around. That's what scares me. He could convince a judge he's just as good a parent as me, maybe better, because he's got the money and the confidence. I've been trying to figure out what to do. At first, I just cried a lot. Late at night when everyone was asleep, sitting in the kitchen with a cup of tea I wouldn't even drink. But after a while, I realized I had to get smart about this. I started keeping a notebook. Every time John says something threatening or spends money he can't account for, I write it down. Dates, times, details. I've even taken pictures of his credit card statements when he leaves them out. It's not much, but it's something. I've been talking to a friend from work, Wyatt, who's 33 and divorced himself. He's quiet, kind of a loner, but he's been through a nasty custody battle and won. He told me to document everything and find a lawyer who'll work pro bono or on a payment plan. Don't let him scare you, Wyatt said. Guys like that bluff because they think you won't fight back. The other problem is Samantha. She doesn't know I exist, or at least, she didn't until last month. I found her on social media, and she's exactly what I pictured. Pretty, confident, always posting about her perfect life. I don't know if she knows John's married, but I doubt she cares. One night, I was so mad I almost messaged her. I typed out this long rant, telling her he's got a wife and a kid, asking how she sleeps at night. But I deleted it. What's the point? She's not the one threatening to take my son. John is. Things got worse a few weeks ago when John brought Samantha to our house. I'd taken Lucas to a play date, and when we got back, there she was, sitting on my couch, laughing like she belonged there. John didn't even flinch. He just said, "Oh, this is my friend Samantha. She stopped by to drop off some work stuff." Lucas ran over to him, oblivious, while I stood there, feeling like an idiot in my own home. Samantha smiled at me, this fake little smile, and said, "Nice to meet you." I wanted to scream, but I didn't. I just took Lucas upstairs and locked myself in his room until she left. Later, John acted like it was no big deal. "You're overreacting," he said. "She's just a coworker." That was the moment I knew I couldn't keep living like this. I started looking for a way out. I called a lawyer, a woman Wyatt recommended. She's tough, but kind, and she agreed to take my case with a small upfront fee I scraped together from my savings. She told me John's threats about custody don't hold as much weight as he thinks. Judges don't like cheaters, she said. And they don't take kids away from good moms just because the dad's got more money. She told me to keep gathering evidence, texts, bank records, anything that shows he's spending on Samantha or neglecting us. She also said I should start separating our finances, so I opened a new bank account and moved my paycheck there. It's not much, but it's a start. The next big fight came last week. John noticed I'd stopped depositing my checks into our joint account, and he lost it. "What are you playing at, Emery?" he yelled. "You think you can just cut me out?" I told him I was done letting him control me. He stormed out, and I haven't seen him since. He's been staying somewhere else, probably with her. Mom's been hovering ever since, asking what's going on, and I finally told her the truth. She cried, then got mad. Not at me, at John. "I can't believe I trusted him," she said. It felt good to have her on my side, even if she can't do much to help. I've been thinking a lot about what I want. At first, I just wanted to hurt John, make him pay for what he's done. But now, I realize that's not the point. I want Lucas to be safe and happy, and I want a life where I'm not walking on eggshells. The lawyer says we've got a good shot at primary custody, especially if I can prove John's affair and his threats. She's pushing for mediation first, to see if we can settle without a full-blown court fight. I don't know if John will go for it. He's too proud, but I'm willing to try. Looking back, I can't believe how much has changed in 6 months. I used to feel so trapped, like John had all the power. But now, I'm starting to see a way through. I've got my notebook, my lawyer, Wyatt's advice, even Mom's support. Lucas is still my rock. He doesn't understand what's happening, but he'll crawl into my lap at night and tell me about his day, and it's enough to keep me going. The house feels quieter without John, but it's not a bad quiet. It's like I can finally breathe. I'm not out of this yet. There's still the mediation, maybe a trial if it comes to that. I'm scared of what John might pull. He's not above line to get what he wants. But I'm not the same person I was when this started. I've learned to fight back, to think ahead. I've stopped crying in the kitchen and started planning instead. And you know what? I'm grateful for that. 6 months ago, I thought my life was over. Now, I feel like it's just beginning. So, that's my story, or at least where it's at right now. I'd love to hear what you think. Should I push for mediation, or just go straight to court? Am I doing the right thing by gathering all this evidence? Or is there something else I should try? I feel stronger than I did, but I still wonder if I'm making the best choices for me and Lucas. What would you do if you were me?
Thank you for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed the story. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss our daily updates.